In this video, we'll be discussing our philosophy on declaring styles in Webflow, which is a little bit like approaching a painting. You never start a landscape painting by etching in blades of grass one by one with a very fine paintbrush. It's not only laborious and time-consuming, you'd also have a very difficult time cleanly filling in the blue sky between the blades at the horizon. Instead, painting begins with very broad strokes, perhaps a large swath of gray for the sky, or a large swath of green for the grass. This is a process called blocking in. At this stage, the painting may seem abstract, but the tones and the perspective have already been established upon which more specific strokes can be laid. The finer points slowly begin to materialize. By the time you've selected your detailing brush to paint in the blades of grass, you're only filling in highlights, shadows, and textures, the exceptions to the broader greens underneath. These layers, building atop of one another, decreasing in scope and increasing in specificity, blend together into a finished product. There are good reasons to approach a Webflow build in a similar manner, which are amplified when working in a team setting. You can accomplish more in less time by starting with broad strokes, minimizing the use of very specific or redundant declarations. The resulting Spartan build will be much easier for the team members to understand, add to, and update. This means leveraging the hierarchy of inheritance and only applying styles when absolutely necessary. The broadest stroke you can make in Webflow is to apply declarations to the body element at the all pages level. Many of these styles will cascade down to other elements, setting the general style of the project by defining things like page background color and body type styles. These declarations should be made first, like a painter's first broad strokes directly onto the canvas. For instance, we might want our site's body copy to display in Roboto rather than the default Arial. Making this adjustment to the body element at the all pages level means that each text element, headlines, paragraphs, text blocks, lists, labels, etc., will default to Roboto. If our brand is updated at a later date, requiring a new body font or an update in font size, we only have to adjust the declaration to the body element to achieve the update. If instead we had declared the font styles on each paragraph, each headline, and each list, the update could require a full site audit and updates to dozens of classes. Now, we may not want all of our site copy to inherit the body copy style, and we can begin to define these exceptions by declaring specific styles on an element-by-element basis. For instance, we may want a more graphic font like Oswald for the headlines, and if we make the adjustment to all H1 headings, we'll override the body declarations, and all of our H1s will use Oswald. Just the same, we may want a specific line height for paragraphs, and if we make that one adjustment at all paragraphs, all of our paragraphs will update with the new line height. But we may not want all of our headlines or paragraphs to display in the same styles either. A specific paragraph may need to be centered, or a specific headline may require all caps. To define these exceptions to the element level styles, we can add a class to apply these styles to individual elements on the page. This can be a simple utility class such as center, a combination of utility classes such as center and uppercase, or a custom class that groups a number of different styles into one class, like large intro paragraph. The goal, however, is to declare the styles at the broadest level that makes sense and only apply classes as exceptions to the element level styles. We want to minimize the number of style declarations and, as much as possible, avoid redundant declarations, thereby minimizing the number of updates required to change the style across the entire project. A worst-case scenario is a team member creating a new custom class for each paragraph with a slightly different style. If the body font isn't defined at the body element at the all pages level, it could end up being declared each time any font style needs to be adjusted, overriding the default 14-pixel Arial. Even though duplicating classes in Webflow can make relatively quick work of creating these classes, the work that would go into making updates to all these classes would be tremendous, and the change could otherwise be accomplished by making one adjustment to the body element.